Hi, good morning. It is the 1st of December 2019, and today I am just doing a little bit of vlogging or blogging, whatever you want to call it. Now, I've blogged and vlogged now for quite some time online, and a lot of my stuff doesn't seem to get watched or viewed, which is fair enough. It's personal preference, just like anything. And today, I'm doing a quick vlog, basically to sort of introduce myself and to also make people aware that, I have got a lot of social media um, information out there that I've currently posted, and it's something I'm going to continue to do so in the future. But today, after having another very stressful day with my family, my little ones, they're all under 5. And again, everyone's saying, oh, because they're only 5 and under, you've got to be lenient, you've got to be patient with them. But at what point do you draw the line when you have to say, stop, enough is enough? My children, like most children in today's society, I think, do not respect me as an adult, yet alone as a parent. It's not like in the olden days where, you were always taught to respect your elders, learn please and thank you. You will sit at the table and eat all your dinner. You will go to bed on time. A very sort of structured, rigid, sort of routine type society that we used to live in. And, I've had a lot of problems with this, a lot of conflicting interests, especially from people that I know who are friends and family, because we're all sort of from an age where, it was okay to discipline your children. It was okay to, if the neighbour next door or somebody down the road saw your children misbehaving and they'd go, oh, I'm going to go and tell your mum and dad, you'd be scared. You wouldn't be like, oh, beep, 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 swearing at them, sticking fingers up, smashing cars, vandalising. I mean, I'm not saying stuff like that didn't happen when I was a child or when my parents were children. I just think it's more noticeable now. It's more in the media. And, my children, unfortunately, I love them to death. I really do. And I always say to them jokingly, you are the loves of my life, but you are the banes of my existence. And it's purely because, once again, over the weekend, I mean, I don't have a problem with putting photos online within reason. They completely trashed my house. And again, this is something I need to be careful about, especially considering I'm not a full-time I'm not a homeowner, I'm a rentee. And I've said to them, if my landlord came round and saw this, we'd be made homeless. And if I was a landlord and I saw how people were treating my property, I would have to agree. And it's all right, people saying, well, it's your fault, you're the parents, you should have done something to prevent this from happening. But nobody can watch their children 24/7. I know it might seem like a feeble excuse, but at some point you've got to allow your children to be responsible. You've got to allow them to make mistakes. You've got to allow them to live their life. And basically, I've said to my children, your actions will have consequences now, to the point where you chose, when mommy was like looking after your younger brother, who, bless him, has just turned 1, you two chose to tip all of your toys from your toy area, throw them all over the floor, and then get water that I'd given you to drink and throw it all over your toys. And most of the toys that I buy my children aren't plastic. There are the odd one or two that may be, but a lot of the toys I try to buy my children are books or jigsaws, which are age appropriate. I don't tend to buy jigsaws that aren't. So, we're talking jigsaw size pieces that are about the size of an adult's hand. There are a few that are a little bit on the smaller side, if they've come like as a set, but, you're looking at 100 pieces maximum. And people will say, well, how long did that take to do? And you're talking a matter of minutes. And, and they thought it was hilarious. They were having a whale of a time, which was great. I don't mind my children having fun. But I just said to them, forget it. Mummy and Daddy are not going to be picking up all these toys off the floor. You have until your dad comes to collect you to do it yourself. So that was the consequence. That was the option for them to help me or it goes in the bin. So basically, I know it sounds awful and it really upsets me. I mean, I'm not crying now, but I was literally crying yesterday. Because all of their toys now, all of their jigsaws and all of the books that they have damaged, we are just going to use them for lighting the fire in the winter, or having a bonfire outside. Because I personally don't want to be taking all this stuff to a landfill, which is why we do try to buy toys that can be recycled or reused. And at once, I mean, they were all in a bag together, and I had this fantastic idea that I was going to look at putting all the pieces together as best I could, maybe painting over the original image, making them into a new picture, for my artwork. Or I could have made some of the toys into jewellery, or, you know, something could have been done with them, basically, something new to upcycle. I'm always promoting, reduce, reuse, recycle, upcycle, donate things if you can. I'm all for that. But the moment you get things wet, which is the main reason why we've had to get rid of everything, you can't do that. I can't try and gift aid or, give people wet, damp cardboard or, wooden toys that nowadays, because most things are made and manufactured in China, the moment they get wet, the paint explodes, which is why I do have a concern with a lot of the toys I buy, because I still have 2 children who are very much, fingers in mouths, toys in mouths, because that's how they taste the world, that's how they see the world, through taste, touch and smell, not really so much through looking at it and realising what it actually is. So, deep breath. What I'm going to be doing today is painstakingly, basically bagging up everything that hasn't got damaged, and it's going back into storage. And I'm just going to have another reward system for my children again. So basically back to the drawing board. So when they say, Mom, I want to play with a car, Mom, I want to read a book, Mom, I want to do a jigsaw, Mom, I want to play with train set, Mom, I want to play with Lego blocks, I'm going to have to say, no, sorry, that's not happening. If you want any of those toys back, you've got to earn them back. And I'm just basically going to say to them that they can earn 1 toy back a day, and they get it for the week, and then it gets taken off them again, or they have it and then they have to give it to me, and then it goes back into storage. I don't really want to be doing this with my children. I don't want to feel like I'm a prison officer. I am their mom, and I want them to have fun in life and enjoy life. I mean, a lot of other parents, and they go, oh, well, we have a nursery or a spare room where our children's toys are, and if they're a mess, they're a mess. We just don't go in there. We close the door and forget about it. Well, unfortunately, people in today's society don't have that luxury. Most people live in a 2 up, 2 down, if they're lucky, or an apartment. So you can't have loads of toys floating around the house or floating around the floor. It's dangerous. And also, it's not really teaching your children respect if they can just basically throw stuff in a room and then lock the door behind them and forget about it. So I have been trying, like most parents would, trying to say to my children, if you play with that jigsaw, make sure you put it away afterwards. Okay, put the toys back in the toy box. I even brought mats, like toy mats, that they could play on. And I said, okay, put your toys on the mat, and then when you come to finish playing with them, all I've got to do is pick the mat up off the floor and then tip it into the toy box. But even that didn't help them to realise that, their actions have consequences, that you've got a toy mat. I don't mind you playing on the toy mat, but the moment I'm finding toys, in places they shouldn't be, put it that way, and everything has to be age appropriate. So my youngest now is 1. So as much as I would love my 5-year-old to have toys that are for his age, I can't. And I've said this to him. I've said, if you want to play with your toys that are age appropriate for you, you've got to make sure you play with them when the baby's asleep. You've got to make sure you put them away. And the bottom line is, they haven't been. So as of today, everything is going. We'll start from scratch again. I do feel bad about this, but I feel I needed to blog about it so people would understand.